Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be tackling an advanced guide for Tokyo Ghoul Break the Chains. This video will be for the players who are already past the basics and are looking to push their CP to the next level. If you're brand new to the game, I'd recommend checking out my beginner's guide first. I'll leave a link in the description. Once you've gone through that, come back here and you'll be able to get the most out of this advanced breakdown. So let's jump in. First off, let's be real. Once you've collected all the free CP from the early game, things do slow down. That's quite normal for gacha games. So if you're not in the top organization or one of the top organizations, your CP gain is going to be a lot slower than the whales or the hardcore players that are in these stacked orgs. But don't get discouraged. There's still a ton of ways for you to grow your account and eventually get yourself into a position where you are able to join these stronger orgs. Potentials are your main source of CP at this stage. The big one here are your rainbow potentials. These are basically the jackpot of potentials. They combine the stats of level 6 attack, defense, and HP potentials all into one, giving you a massive 1115 CP boost compared to just a 331 CP boost from a regular level 6 potential. Most of your potentials will come from the potential wheel. A single spin of this wheel costs 100 gems, and a multi-spin will cost 1000 gems. Rainbow potentials have a tiny 0.1% base drop rate, but that chance does go up the more you spin until you hit a rainbow potential, and then that base drop rate resets back to 0.1%. The real question is, when should you be spinning the wheel? The rule of thumb is simple. Save your diamonds first for banners. If there is a must-pull unit for your archetype, such as Arima Half Anniversary, you want to spend all your gems on that banner. If it's a less impactful release, like Kaneki Natsumatsuri, then it's safe for you to dump some or all of your gems into the potential wheel instead. You'll also notice the yellow lines when you're equipping matching potentials. This is your linkage effect. The linkage effects are bonus effects that you gain the more you're able to link matching potentials up. The more matching types you have, so the more yellow lines, the stronger this boost is. You're only able to match potentials of the same color. The only exception to this rule are your rainbows, which act as wildcards and can link to anything. Your goal when equipping your potentials is to maximize those connections, so it's good to try and arrange the potentials in such a way where you're getting as many yellow lines as possible. A standard setup would be arranging the same colors vertically or horizontally. As for which type of potentials you want to be equipping, the majority of your DPS units will want attack, and the majority of your tank units will want either HP or defense. Every potential will have one of 6 attributes: Initiate, Smash, Eliminate, Undermine, Potent, and Artifice. Both Potent and Artifice can be completely ignored. These either require you to use your ultimate or to play energy cards to activate their effects, so are completely unviable for PvP situations. When you're deciding which attributes you're going to equip on a unit, the standard setup for your attributes is usually 3 Initiate, 4 Smash, and either 2 Eliminate or 2 Undermines. You should be using Eliminate on stall teams and Undermine on glass cannon teams. Initiate and Smash are probably your 2 most important attributes. Initiate boosts your unit's basic stats, and Smash increases the damage your unit will deal when the enemy unit is shielded. Undermine should be considered when you're playing a glass cannon team. Eliminate is good for your stall teams to keep your units from being weak stunned and to keep their actives and passives in play for longer. You should look to equip your teams with full rainbow potentials, a mix of rainbow and level 6 potentials, or full level 6 potentials, prioritizing your main team. You may have to use level 5 potentials if you do not have enough level 6 ones. Avoid using anything below level 4. Potentials also only need to be equipped on your main team. Fodder units and assist slot units do not need potentials. It is a waste of potentials, and you are better off using them for crafting to try and craft more rainbows. Most of your long-term rainbow farming will come from the crafting menu. This is where most of your potentials from the potential wheel will end up going. Potential crafting is found in your research tab. When crafting potentials, you'll be using 5 potentials of the same tier to produce 1 potential of the next highest tier. For example, a level 6 potential requires 5 level 5s, which requires 25 level 4s, and so on. As mentioned earlier, you should be actively avoiding using Potent and Artifice potentials, so those should be your primary potentials that you would use in crafting first. Every potential that is level 4 or lower should also be used for crafting. Once you reach level 5 potentials, this is where you can be more selective with what potentials are being used for crafting and which potentials you should be saving. You may need to use level 5 potentials if you're unable to find any good level 6 potentials. When you craft a level 6 potential, you have a 1.4% chance from that crafting to craft a rainbow potential. This is what you're mainly after regardless of their attributes. Even if the attribute is potent or artifice, save that rainbow. These rainbow potentials are far more valuable than any level 6 potential that you could ever get. You're also able to re-roll level 6 potentials that you already own to try and get more rainbows. You can put in 2 level 6 potentials to craft another level 6 and have a chance to obtain your rainbow potential. When you're re-rolling level 6 potentials, this is where you have to be very careful with what you're selecting. You should 100% be avoiding using your initiates, smashers, undermines, and eliminates unless absolutely necessary, or you know you won't be needing those attributes for a while. It's better for you to be using these level 6 potentials on your units in the meantime whilst you search for rainbows, rather than throwing every single level 6 potential that you're earning into the crafting menu, most likely not obtaining any rainbows and being forced to use lower level potentials on your main team. I would suggest equipping your main team with level 6 potentials first before crafting to ensure that your main team will always have potentials to use, and then you're able to use all your future potentials in crafting. If you have the resources available, you can also consider unequipping all your potentials from your teams, excluding your main teams, and throwing them in the crafter. This will be done during the 1 week downtime between carnivals, allowing you another week to obtain filler potentials that you can equip to your secondary teams for your PvP game modes. Remember that potentials are incredibly expensive to invest in, so unless you're incredibly lucky, obtaining 45 rainbow potentials, enough for a full set on your main team, will take months of spinning the wheel and hundreds of thousands of diamonds. The optimal cells for your units are your 4x substat cells. These are cells that have 4 of the same substat, such as the 4x attack assault cell. The substats that you're mainly after will be attack, HP, and defense, but depending on what role your unit serves, other substats may also be desirable. The problem with obtaining your 4x cells is that it is very difficult to find as a free-to-play player. The only way a free-to-play player can obtain 4x cells is by getting lucky on the cell creation event. Even then, you're not guaranteed to even obtain a 4x cell of the desirable substat you're looking for. Very rarely these cells will be available through an event, such as the half anniversary event. The only other current way to obtain 4x cells are through chain packs, but unless you have a lot of money to spend, this is very unfeasible for the average player. The next best thing would be your 3x cells, cells that have 3 of the same desirable substat. These are much easier to obtain, and the most common way to obtain these cells are going to be through your organization auction. Every Monday and Friday, the organization boss will be refreshed. Upon defeating this boss, 4 random cells will be added to your organization's auction. From these cells, you should try to focus on bidding for 3x cells. If you're in a competent organization, there may be auction rules set up to ensure that there is no needless diamond spending, so make sure that you're respecting your organization auction rules. If your organization does not have any rules, it will be a good idea to mention to your leader about setting up some rules. Any unbought cells are moved to the world auction of whatever server the organization is set up in. So if your org was made in EU50, then any unbought cells from this org's auction would enter the EU50 world auction. During the early game, you may notice that you're struggling to obtain enough good cells to fill out your teams. As with anything, prioritize your main team first. Ensure that these units have cells of the highest possible rating, whilst ensuring that the substats are still optimal. It is better for you to be using a 99 rated cell that may have 3 attack substats rather than a 100 rated cell that has 3 lifesteal substats on your Ayato Rebel Wing. As with potentials, cells are a slow process to obtain, especially since you're quite limited to how many you're able to obtain, so you shouldn't stress about getting your optimal cells quickly. Your cell modifiers play a big factor in deciding whether a 4x or 3x cell is good or great. The cell modifiers that you're primarily looking for are Disruption, Buff Removal, and Resurrection cells. Disruption are your best form of counterplay when it comes to battles. This is because Disruption directly affects the opponent during their turn. When a unit is disrupted, you'll see a black smoky ring around their feet. These disrupted units' active skill effect will not trigger whilst that circle is there, and the disruption effect is uncleansable, only being removed after 1 or 2 turns have elapsed. For example, for Suzuya Scorpion 156, if he is disrupted, his Ultra Ruin effect will not work. So that crit rate, crit damage, and bonus attack will not be increased on his active skill. Buff removal is also a nice modifier to have equipped. This will remove a red or grey buff from an opposing unit after you've attacked it, or potentially a yellow buff if your unit has 3 buff removal modifiers equipped. This includes yellow buffs such as Tuka Flame Wing's Charm. Resurrection modifiers are as the name suggests as well. It will resurrect your unit upon death. You should be aware of a niche interaction between resurrection cells and Yamori Warrior. Yamori's 1-star passive damage boost is triggered whenever he kills a unit with his active skill. And since resurrection is treated as a resurrection and not as a death cheat like Ryoko Daughter Protector, his trigger attack will be activated and Yamori will attack that resurrected unit again, rendering the modification useless. The only notable modification will be your attack related stats boost, which benefits any glass cannon team, and your skill level up for teams that may be more stall orientated. The other modifications are either too niche or their effects are too limited to be considered for competitive use. A tactic that some notable orgs utilize is known as cell farming. These are established organizations made by secondary accounts that are only used to kill the organization boss in order to search for more auction cells. How it works is, after the Stronghold event has elapsed, groups of 4 players will leave their respective main organizations and join a dedicated cell farming org once their cooldown timer has elapsed. They will then kill the org boss, bid for any cells they want, then instantly leave the organization afterwards. When you bid for a cell, your bid remains valid regardless of whether you leave an organization or not, unless someone outbids you. However, with the introduction of organization tech, org leaders may now encourage players to stay in the main organization in order to progress through this tech skill tree. So this tactic may only be viable once the tech skill tree has been fully completed, or it may now just be unviable altogether. If your 4-man group is strong enough, you do have enough time to join one org, kill the org boss, bid on a cell, and leave within the same day, meaning that you can theoretically farm 1 boss per day, resulting in 4 cells per day. Cells can also be promoted to increase the CP that the cell will give, and these promotions will give your cells either damage amplification or damage nullification. Each cell can be upgraded up to 5 stars. To modify a cell, you will need to have 100 cell promoters. To star up these cells, you will need to have 1 modified cell and 15 cell evolution eukaryotes. You should avoid starring up undesirable cells, for example any non-3x or 4x cells. If you have the cell promoters available, you could consider modifying undesirable cells. This is because later on you will need to use modified cells in order to star up other cells. So modifying these undesirable cells for temporary use is perfectly fine, as you can then use them later for starring up your better cells that you may obtain further on. The priority when it comes to starring up cells depends on the role of the unit. For your main damage dealers, prioritize starring up your assault cell first, then your regeneration cell, and then finally your bulwark cells. This is to maximize the amount of damage that your DPS units are dealing. For your tankier units, you'll be prioritizing your bulwark cells first, then your regeneration, then your assaults last. When it comes to starting up cells, you should be using the lowest rated modified cells as possible. The only cells that are able to be modified are UR cells. These are your cells with the red background. So you should be promoting your lowest rated cells first if you're going to be using cells to star up your better cells. For some specific units, they will have access to unique cells known in the community as LR cells. These cells provide unique effects when equipped to their specific unit and provide an insane CP boost compared to a max starred 100 rated cell. The only way to obtain these powerful cells are through the cell creation event and through the exchange. I'll focus on the exchange for now and talk about the cell creation event later on in its own separate section. LR cells are found in the salvage shop tab in the exchange and require cell essence. To obtain cell essence, you need to salvage modified cells. Each modified cell will provide you with 1000 cell essence and an additional 1000 per star. So a fully starred cell would provide you with 6000 cell essence. Just like with starring up cells, you'll want to use your lowest rated cells for turning into cell essence. Salvaging an LR cell will provide you with 10,000 cell essence. You should never purchase the random exclusive cell casket. This is a scam. You're wasting 20,000 of your cell essence for a small chance to obtain a cell you want. The only notable cells that are currently in the exchange are Assault Cell Lightning God, Bullock Cell CCG Maverick, Regeneration Cell Non-Killing Owl, Bullock Cell Daughter Protector, and Assault Cell Non-Killing Owl. The rest of the LR cells either have an unusable effect or offer an unusable unit. The only exception is the Assault Cell Centipede, which can be used to improve Centipede's CP if you're using him in the assist slot or on a main team if you are forced to use him. Tactics are a newer system, so they're quite difficult to evaluate currently. For this guide, I'll be evaluating the tactics at their UR tier. I won't be evaluating any LR tactics because they are virtually impossible to obtain as of right now. Tactics are very important in increasing your team's CP and also providing your team with unique buffs. In my opinion, the tactics that you should be hoping to obtain would be the Assistance tactic, Provocation Counter, Fortify, and Healing Prohibition. Assistance gives you a free stats boost and is effective in the backup slot. Provocation Counter directly counters store teams such as Charmed Tuka Anteku and Charmed Arima CCG's Reaper in their respective Classic Anteku team or Charm Ixa team. Fortify is a great tactic to keep your tank units alive for store teams, and Healing Prohibition allows for any unit to apply the Breathless debuff. This does not mean that the other tactics are useless, it is just difficult to ascertain how strong each tactic is since it's far too early to figure out which tactics are the best. Currently, the only reliable way to obtain tactics is through the Abyssal Battlefield game mode, where you're able to purchase 1 random UR tactic and 2 random SSR tactics per month. There is no other way to obtain tactics outside of certain events, such as the organization lottery. Also, as of this moment, every other way of earning tactics has been pay to win. Unfortunately, it does seem that tactics will be pay to win for the foreseeable future until they add reliable ways to obtain SR tactics. The exclusive equipment is a very important part of your unit's kit. Unlocking the exclusive equipment provides your unit with additional benefits, such as Yamori Warrior's Provoke Ignore. Your equipment upgrade has a maximum level of 200, and your equipment promotion has a maximum tier of 20. As you start out, you may find it quite difficult to progress either of these. To upgrade your equipment promotion, you'll need Ability Sphere Fragments. And to progress your equipment upgrade, you'll need Ability Boosters. Both of these are primarily obtained in the exclusive treasure box tab of your event tab. The exclusive treasure box requires exclusive treasure box keys, which you'll obtain from playing the game daily. As you progress through your unit's equipment promotion, you may notice you'll have more of a certain ability sphere fragment than is needed. These fragments can be salvaged in your fragment salvage tab to obtain more ability boosters. You should be aiming to level up your equipment upgrade to level 200 on your main teams and get your equipment promotion as high as possible. During the carnival event, you'll be able to purchase ability spheres for your carnival unit. Because of this, you should be reaching at least tier 16 on all carnival units that you're able to, since you have an easy way to obtain their specific ability spheres. When using the treasure box event, you should select whatever character you're trying to obtain ability spheres for. Whoever the selected character is, you have a higher chance of obtaining ability spheres of any tier for that specific character. For example, if I wanted a lot of Tuka Flamewing, I would select her and I would have a higher chance of obtaining ability spheres for her over all the other characters. If you do not need ability spheres for a specific character, then you should be working on obtaining the UR ability sphere for all of your units in your box in order to increase your account CP. When it comes to picking your main team, don't just follow the meta blindly. You have to think about what you can realistically push the furthest. What do I mean by this? Each archetype is held back by certain factors: the availability of meta units required, force talents, scene collections, exclusive LR cells, and backup supports, just to name a few. The main consideration when it comes to choosing your main composition is whether their scene collections are accessible to you or not. Scene collections play a huge factor in both CP and stats, so you should be choosing an archetype based on what scene collection you're able to progress. How you would determine this would be based off whether you're able to clear that specific archetype's Force EX challenge. You wouldn't choose Ontaku as your main composition if you're only able to successfully clear the Aogiri EX challenge on a weekly basis. In this case, you will be able to take Aogiri much further than you could with Ontaku, and you should consider running Aogiri as a main team. If you're able to sweep all 4 EX challenges successfully, the next indicator for your team composition will be your box. You should ask yourself, do I have the characters required to build a competent team? And for those looking to be competitively viable, you will have to find a balance between building a competent team and also paying attention to the current meta. There is no point in running an Ontaku team when the meta is Aogiri favored. Finally, the factor that is most important is whether you enjoy playing that archetype or not. If you're playing the archetype you like the most, then you have a higher chance of continuing to play the game. It is better for you to be enjoying yourself in the game than to min-max everything and be miserable in the process. Regardless of whatever archetype you choose, you'll get to a point where there is nothing holding you back from progressing your team. Even if the early game will be rougher if you've chosen an archetype that is not meta favored, it is still possible to obtain certain characters needed for their archetype's meta team, though they may be quite expensive, such as the UR Crystal Exchange. So that covers the main ways to keep pushing your account CP once you've hit that mid to late game wall. It may feel slow at times, but steady investment and smart choices will pay off in the long run. Now, CP isn't the only thing that matters. To really keep your account growing, you'll want to make the most out of the different game modes and the few key systems that can give you an edge. Let's go over some quick tips and highlight the important game modes and events that you should be focusing on. The first is the Shake and Win event. This is a lottery-esque event where you draw balls and obtain prizes depending on what you draw. You should already be completing the daily and event quests for this event just by playing the game, but you should still make sure that you are completing all of the dailies, as it is still a free source of materials, even if the materials are not the best. You may hear from older players to hold on to letter balls. In the past, when you drew a letter ball by itself or multiple, you would leave that letter ball and stop drawing completely until the end of the event. This is because the letter ball would then count as a first place prize, giving you 6,000 gems. This is no longer the case. Holding a letter ball only gives you a single event summon ticket. If you're the type of person who likes to do big pools, you can hold on to your lottery tickets for when the event returns. These tickets are not consumed and will stay in your inventory for future events. The Wheel of Fortune is one of the few paid events that is somewhat worthwhile to invest in. Each day, you can spend 29 cents for a spin of the wheel. The main thing are the fortune points. These are used in the points shop where you're able to purchase a character selection card. This is the only reliable way to obtain limited time SSRs outside of the Legacy banner that were released after Tuka Ontaku. Be aware though, if you commit to investing in this wheel, you must do so for 21 consecutive days. Unused fortune points are cleared every 21 days, so you aren't able to stockpile points. This means that if you are going to invest in the wheel, you'll have to wait until the wheel has been refreshed and then start your investment for the 21 days. Otherwise, you are just going to lose the points. In my opinion, the best way for you to obtain maximum value from this wheel as a minimal spender or as a whale is to be completing all of your purchases in-game on the official game APK and not from the app found in the App Store or the Play Store. The reason for this is that all prices on the APK will be in USD. So if your currency is stronger than USD, you'll be paying a discounted price, and using the APK will give you a 5% recharge in the form of tickets. What this means is that for every top-up purchase cost, you'll receive 5% of that cost back as vouchers. So if you're investing in a certain event or purchasing a chain pack, you should be using the APK for your purchases in order to obtain these vouchers, which you can then use on the Wheel of Fortune. The cell creation is probably the worst thing ever introduced in the game. However, if you want to stay competitively viable, the cell creation is something you're forced to participate in. This is where you'll be obtaining the majority of your useful LR cells. And yes, it is extremely pay to win. There are always 6 advertised cells. Normally 3 of a new LR cell that has just been introduced, and 3 different past LR cells that were introduced before. The way you obtain these advertised cells is by getting the heat meter to fill. Each time the heat meter is filled, those 6 advertised cells are distributed among all players who have entered the leaderboard. To enter the leaderboard, you need to have 100 points or more, so you would need to create at least 10 cells. The top 3 players on the leaderboard are guaranteed to be given a random cell from these 6, and the last 3 are randomly assigned to anyone on the leaderboard. And yes, it's random. Not even the top 3 players are able to choose what cell they're given. You could be top 3 times and not get the cell you want even once. Obtaining cell creation tokens is not cheap either. Once a day, you're able to buy 5 tokens for 2,500 gems, and this can be done 4 times per day. So over one cell creation event, you can purchase 40 cell creation tokens for 20,000 diamonds. A positive from this event, if there is any, is that your cell creation tokens are not lost when the event is over. This means that you're able to stockpile tokens for future cell creation events. So for your free-to-play players or minimal spending players, this is how you're able to give yourself the best chance of obtaining beneficial LR cells. You should be saving all of your tokens until there is a cell creation event that you must get an LR cell for. When creating cells, the only option you should ever be selecting is the high rating cells. Even if you need cells of a certain type or attribute or substat, only ever create using the high rating setting. The reason for this is that this is the only setting that gives you a chance to create exclusive LR cells. The possible LR cells that you can create each event are found in the exclusive cell tab, and they have a 1% chance to drop. Even at 1%, they are far more valuable than any other cell that you're able to create. You're still able to create 4x cells on the high rating cell options. I've managed to obtain a 4 HP bulwark cell from this setting as well. If you've been lucky enough to pull an LR cell, great. These cells can be equipped for their respective units in order to boost their CP, which could be used for your assist slot for the carnival event if they're max stars. These cells can also be recycled to obtain cell essence if you're looking to exchange for a specific LR cell in the exchange. Assignments are very important for you to complete, although they are quite boring. The reason you need to complete assignments is because after completing 2 rounds of assignments and defeating the urgent assignment boss, you'll notice a limited tab appear in the corner of your assignment screen. This is a limited time exchange that you must be exchanging from every single day. On this exchange, there is a chance for attribute enhancement data to be present. These are very important to be buying due to how much value you are getting from this. You are spending 150 diamonds for 1,000 attribute data. To put this into perspective, the regular diamond exchange charges you 500 diamonds for only 500 attribute data. This assignment exchange only opens once a day and for 4 hours, so it's imperative that you're doing this as early as possible to farm as much attribute data as possible. Buying the other consumables for gold is also good if you have a lot of gold, but you should avoid buying anything else that is being sold for diamonds unless you desperately need it. The strategic arena is quite unique in the sense that it shows you what your current theoretical maximum CP is. All of your stats, except your star levels, are pushed to their maximum, and you're able to equip the best cells, potentials, and tactics. A lot of people find the strategic arena very boring and repetitive. However, for those who are looking to power up their accounts, this is a must-do every week. The main rewards that you are going for are your phase 6 to 9 reward chests. In these chests, you have a possibility of obtaining talent certificates and cell promoters. These are the main rewards that you are hoping to get. The other rewards are fine, but are obtainable elsewhere, which is why you're mainly hoping to obtain talent certificates and cell promoters because they're quite difficult to farm for. During the mid-game, you may also find that you're consistently low on crimson crystals, the crystals used for leveling up your units. The best way to actively farm for these crystals is through the conquest battle. You should be sweeping the one-eyed owl conquest battle on hard difficulty to maximize the amount of crimson crystals you're obtaining whilst minimizing the amount of energy you're spending. These conquest battles are quite expensive on your energy. You should definitely be sweeping this when there is the half energy event running. The organization tag is a new addition that gives you bonuses based on how much your organization invests into them. If you're in a notable organization, you should be completing all 5 daily common research and at least 2 advanced researches per day. More if you have the diamond income to spare. 2 is the minimum because it costs only 150 diamonds, which is the same amount that you are rewarded for when you're completing your 3 daily RTA battles, which you should be doing all 5 of anyway. When it comes to priorities, that will be something that your organization leader decides. The experience of being an endgame player will help with deciding which boost to invest in first after the entire tree has been unlocked compared to if you're a new player or a mid-game player. And finally, we have the RTA arena. This is one of the more enjoyable aspects of the game in my opinion. This arena opens twice per day and allows you to match against any player in your region. The RTA Arena is a very important arena that you must play. Firstly, the RTA Exchange is one of the few places for free-to-play players to obtain your red coins. In order to obtain the red coin, you must be at least Masters rank. This means, unfortunately, you're going to have to lock in and get to Masters as soon as possible and then maintain that rank each week. Every Monday, the RTA Arena is reset and every player will decay 1 sub-rank. If you were Diamond 1, you will decay to Diamond 2, and if you were Gold 5, you will decay down to Silver 1. The exception to this rule is anyone above Masters 5. These players will all decay down to Masters 5 regardless of what rank they achieve. Masters 4, Masters 1, Legendary, all of these players decay down to Masters 5. Because of this, you'll see a huge number of Titans during Monday RTA. If your team is still relatively weak, I would suggest not attempting to climb on Monday. Virtually all players that are in the arena will be trying to climb back up to Legendary, so you'll find it very difficult to progress. Just do your 5 RTA battles and then move on. The best days for you to try and climb would be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. From my experience, this is when the stronger players are on the least. Keep in mind that this is not a be-all end-all rule, it is just my own experience. Mondays and Sundays are the worst days to attempt to climb, because Monday is when all the powerful players will be climbing, and Sunday will be very populated with players trying to snipe a higher rank. Climbing isn't necessarily hard, it's more so tedious. Outside of Legendary, for every match you lose, you'll go against a bot. This bot will always be the same rank as you and will be significantly weaker than you, giving you a free win. This is what enables you to climb the ranks. The amount of elo you gain or lose is dependent on your individual rank and the rank of your opponent. If your opponent is a higher rank than you, beating them will award you with more than 15 elo, and losing against them will make you lose less elo. Winning or losing against the bot will always be a gain or loss of 15 elo. If you can see the pattern already, you're able to slowly climb up the ranks if you're consistently going versus higher ranked players. You take the 12 to 14 elo loss and then regain 15 on the bot fight to get a net of 1 to 3 elo. However, the higher you climb, the harder it will be for you to gain elo this way. Fortunately, your main goal won't be to hit Legend, but to hit Masters. You will need to play the RTA Arena until you reach at least Masters 4. Remembering what I said about rank decay in Masters, all ranks will decay back down to Masters 5. So all you need to do is ensure that you enter Masters 4 so that when you decay, you drop down to Masters 5. Unfortunately, the RTA Arena is something you'll just have to brute force. But if you're lucky and go against a Legendary player, shoot them a little wave emote. There is a small chance that that Legend player will be kind and give you a free win, earning you 18 to 20 elo. Consistently reaching Legendary will award you with RTA fragments. These fragments are wildcard fragments that can be redeemed for a good number of units, but you will only ever be using them on Arima Lightning God. You can also purchase up to 3 additional RTA frags daily from the RTA Exchange. Aside from RTA frags, the most important item to obtain from the RTA Exchange is your red coin. Every single month, you must be purchasing this. Other must buys are your 2 weekly superlative potential boxes and your red coin shards. Special fragment chests are quite expensive, but if you are a free-to-play player, this is kind of the only way for you to unlock Akira Father's Will. If you are a minimal spender, you can obtain Akira from the Wheel of Fortune ticket. Otherwise, these chests should only ever be bought when you're just shy of a few frags for your limited time recruitment unit, and not something you want to spend 800 tokens on weekly, especially if you're unable to consistently get to Legendary fast. The random UR sell is a scam. You are not guaranteed a 3x or 4x sell from it, and there is no need to buy attribute material chests because you can sweep their respective material dungeons for them. And finally, a few quick tips. The daily deal. In the daily deal, you should only ever be claiming for Arima Lightning God or Mado Fuguchi Ni. Prioritize getting Arima first. Once you've attained 1 Arima unit, you will only then ever be taking Mado from there. The Material Dungeon. Whenever there is a reduced stamina cost event for this, you should be farming your Psych and Whip promotion stones. You need around 234 5-star promotion stones and 250 4-star promotion stones to bring a character from level 1 to level 300. This is a far cheaper way to obtain promotion stones than through the exchange. Your explorations. If you have any leftover energy at the end of the day, you can throw 135 energy into Exploration Map 4, so you can slowly farm your white and black top-notch bond tablets and stockpile them until you need it. Otherwise, sweep maps 2 or 3 if you need a large amount of one of these bonds quickly. Endless Trials. Don't be scared to mix and match the units on your Endless Trial teams. The first round of every endless try will let you act first, regardless of whether you're in a CP disadvantage or not. Using units that remove attacks, such as Ayato Wing of Power Seeker's trigger attack, or Iwao Arato Proto Rampage's active, can help significantly. Red coins. As a free-to-play player, your main non-summoned sources of red coins are through your daily logins, which give you 1 red coin every 3 weeks, the RTA red coin, which can be purchased once every 4 weeks, and the RTA red coin fragments, which gives you 1 red coin every 5 weeks. This gives you around 2 to 3 red coins monthly. If you are a spender, this goes up to 4 to 5 red coins. 1 red coin from the premium monthly card shop, and 1 red coin from the VIP exchange once you reach VIP 10. Gold coins. The only way to get gold coins are through your carnival summons, certain events, processing your red coins, and reaching VIP 11. You can process red coins into gold coins in a 1-to-1 ratio. This conversion is only one way though, so you're not able to convert gold coins to red coins. Event packs. The only value event pack to purchase is the 99¢ carnival pack, giving you 2 carnival tickets and 80 gems. Some of the scams in the game: all advancement packs, novice selection pack, and the promotion pass for your battle passes are scams. If you're going to buy any premium passes on your battle passes, just go for the ones that give you gems, the advanced pass. It may be more expensive overall, but it provides way more value than the promotion pass can. And the world auction. After each world boss refresh, the world auction will fill with 10 special character fragment chests and 5 level 5 random potential. If you have a lot of gens that you can spend, consider picking up these fragment chests to help progress some more of your box to DMAX, and you can also consider buying the level 5 potentials. And that's going to wrap up this advanced guide for Tokyo Ghoul Break the Chains. By now, you should have a clearer picture of how to keep pushing your CP, which game modes to prioritize, and a few extra tips to make your progression smoother. If you found this helpful, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and check out the beginner's guide in the description if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and good luck out there.